What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV. You know I got another banger for you, so kick back, relax, and come take a ride with me.
You are now locked into the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Here is your host, Brandon Blakeney.
So a lot of people have been asking with the struggles of Raven Johnson. She's shooting just over 12% from the field. The shooting, the scoring has been atrocious. She's averaging 2 points, just over 2 assists. The assists have been cut in half, maybe due to Camila Cardoso and those easy entrance passes not being available. The defense has still been there. The rebounds are up. But Raven Johnson has been, honestly, a shell of herself. And it's got people wondering if Coach Staley will make a change at the point guard position. What we've seen from Maliah Fulwiley is absolutely special. In her last 2 games, she has been sensational for South Carolina.
It's a battle with Lay. And it's not that she understands. She really understands. She's really dynamic. She's a dynamic guard. I thought, for the most part, she was lean as lean could be. Like playing great. And sometimes she can't bite the bullet. But if she could play as lean as she played today, I can eat some of the stuff that she tries to do. Is when it's not as lean as it was today, you're still trying, and maybe sometimes that gets her going a little bit. So she, I give her a little leeway with it, but I also let her know, I let her know during the game, your game was great, efficient, it's the game slowed down for you. You were doing a lot, you were facilitating. And then she gets anxious to make a play. And a lot of times it is to her teammate. It is an unselfish thing that really gets her in trouble. For us, we want her to go score. Don't go try to make the spectacular pass. They're not ready. They're not ready. So go score, you miss, they're going to get the rebound. So it's those types of instances. And it's just a conversation. I enjoy it. She knows now. She could actually, if I say something, she could finish the sentence. But she can't hear me in those moments in the game.
In her last 2 games where she's played the most minutes, against NC State, top 10 ranked opponent, she played 18 minutes and had 18 points off the bench and 3 rebounds and a block. Then at Coppin State, she plays 25 minutes. She scores 23 to lead the way, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Now, the thing is, though, that really, really gets you is the 7 turnovers in 2 games. She's definitely got to calm down on that, and I think that's what some of Coach Don Staley kind of explains why Maliah Fulwiley hasn't started yet this far in her early career with the Gamecocks. Now, I completely agree. Raven Johnson's more poised. You can trust her more with the basketball. But Maliah Fulwiley just offers so much more upside with her 3-level scoring ability. She's explosive. She's probably the most electrifying guard in the country with the ball in her hands. Elite finisher, elite in the fast break, elite in the pick and roll. Any space, she's blowing by you and getting to the cup. And she does so many good things. I think the biggest thing for me is the turnovers, her controlling the basketball. And what Coach Don Staley said that stuck out is it's not necessarily her making bad plays, but her trying to be too unselfish and feed other teammates the ball that aren't ready for the passes. Kind of like what we saw with Caitlin Clark at the beginning of her career with the Indiana Fever, the beginning of the season, where she was dropping dimes and they just could not hold on to the basketball. But Maliah Fulwiley right now, and what she's averaging, it's dang near impossible to keep her off the court. On the year, Fulwiley's averaging 15 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and she's shooting 51.4% from the field. She's also, which is way higher than last year, from 43.8%. She's shooting better from 3-point range as well, a career high 35.7%. The free throws have been atrocious at 40%. You definitely want to see that. But she upped her scoring from 15 points to 11, from 11.7 to 15 points. The rebounds are up, and the assists are continuing to climb. She's also averaging a block per game. The 3 turnovers you definitely want to see cut down as a lead guard. And I know some people are like, she could wait her turn. This will be her team next year. But she might be too good. And we saw this last year. SEC Tournament MVP. She was sensational. SEC All-Freshman team. Second team All-SEC. Like, Don Staley has deemed her a generational talent. It's fair to say, man, this is no shade to Raven Johnson, but she's a better player than Raven Johnson. She's a better player than Breezy Hall, and she's been the most productive guard on this team throughout their first several games, to be honest with y'all. Through the last two, she's been the spark plug. She's led this team. She's gotten to the cup. She's been efficient, controlling the tempo, controlling the pace. She has had some turnovers, but other than that, there's really no knock on her game. I think the game has definitely slowed down. Her feel has improved for the game. And honestly, with her in the starting lineup, I think this team has a much higher upside. This team plays faster when she's in the game. I think they're more wide open in space. They create a lot more opportunities in transition. She commands a lot more attention with the basketball in her hands than Raven. And I think at some point we could see her slide into that starting lineup, or at least be playing more minutes than Raven Johnson by the end of the year. Now, I know Raven has been there for 3 years. She's been a really productive player. She was the heart and soul of this team and continues to be the ultimate glue player, and they need her at her best to win. But this group, I don't know if they're starting the best 5 players. I'm expecting Ashlyn Watkins to overtake Sanaya Fagan at that 5 spot as well, as she continues to get acclimated. Could we see Tessa Johnson take Breezy Hall's spot, who's been underperforming? Don cannot hold these young players back, and she's not a coach that is willing to do that. She will put the best player out there and ride the hot hand. And right now, the Gamecocks' young talent, Joyce Edwards as well, maybe she's inserted into that starting lineup permanently. She seems like she has the skill set to be that number one scoring option in the paint, be that alpha dog on that alpha on the offense, and command that double team to get open shots for these shooters. I think at some point we see some changes within the Gamecock lineup. But right now, maybe it's not broken, so don't fix it. It's still early. They're still figuring things out, knocking the rust off. Maybe the WNBA draft looming is in the minds of Raven Johnson and these other players like Breezy Hall, Sanaya Fagan, who are eligible. Maybe they have that on their mind. It'd be hard not to, thinking about that next step. But they can't get too far ahead of themselves. Especially Raven, I think she needs a big year to stay around in that first round eligibility, that first round grade, in those mock drafts, as I should say. Y'all let me know how y'all feel, though, man. Will the real Raven Johnson please stand up? Will the real Breezy Hall please stand up? Because Maliah Fulwiley is playing too good right now to be not starting games, in my opinion. But y'all let me know. Maybe she's better suited being that spark plug off the bench right now, just getting buckets. I don't know. Y'all holler at me in the comments. Talk to me. That's a wrap for us. For all the latest and the greatest, I am Brandon Blakeney, a.k.a. Brandon Lee TV. Until next time, we out.